So much of what happens in economies is about the signals that are sent, and President Cyril Ramaphosa has been very clear about sending strong and positive and bold signals, whether it be the Yes campaign, whether it be the investment envoys, or whether it be his choice of chief economic advisor. Lots of people have held that job in the past and have done fairly decent work, but one gets the sense that Cyril Ramaphosa is being deadly serious about partnering with Trudy Makaya on this one.
I think the one thing I get about the special envoy is its sole purpose is to breathe some life back into the national development plan that we've all forgotten about. I don't think it's a mistake that that she's there, Trudy. In fact, that Trevor Manuel is there because him and Cyril were very pivotal in developing that document. Right now, like I said, the government is focused on structural change, making sure that South Africa is not so dependent on the agricultural and mining sector. And a lot of that was covered in the National Development Plan, a great plan that we've long forgotten about, that our economic growth sort of says is a pipe dream. And right now it's about how do we get that going, because we know the answers, they're in there. It's just about how do you fund the answers.
Yeah. Are we going to do the work
in
order to get it done?
And it's structural change, it takes years, and it's a matter of will he be given that period. I mean, at the moment he's fighting fires inside his own party.
Yeah, literally. I had to come back from the UK a couple of days early as well to sort out Mahikeng and the Northwest. Paul Theron, let's end this on a more upbeat note in terms of, because we can get caught up in the negativity around the economy. The reality is we've made big, bold, concrete steps in the first 4 months of this year in order to set this economy on a better track. How do we capitalize then as long-term investors on the opportunity that's been created?
I don't know. That's quite a general and broad sort of question. Look, I don't think it's a good idea, not a good time to invest in a McDonald's in the Northwest Province. Look, the economic opportunities are, the way an economy works is that there's a context, there's an environment, and that creates confidence levels, and then private businesses and individuals make investment decisions, and those are the ones that we as investors can participate in. So I think changing the head of the South African Revenue Service is very important. Appointing an economic advisor that isn't like some kind of clown that no one knows whether they even studied economics, that's important. Kicking out people who are obstructive with regard to certain ministries and the way they affect certain parts of the economy, like changing up the tourism person and getting rid of those rules that prevent tourists coming here. Those sorts of things are very important because that's a part of the economy that could kick in, 10% of our economy instead of 5% if we do the right things. So I think in time, people will notice that contextual improvement, and then they'll start making, the necessary investments, and we can all get rich together.
We're starting to see also some outside interest in South African companies again. And there was a time where virtually everything in South Africa felt like it was for sale. There were investment bankers traveling with briefcases, stopping people in the street saying, "Are you the chief executive of a company? Because I'm sure I'd like to buy it." That then died a horrible death. But now we've got investors looking at Murray and Roberts, beginning to nibble around the edges of South Africa's corporate sector, again looking for deals, and that's also a sign of external confidence coming in.
Yeah, and that's key. But again, my worry continues that the investment case for South Africa is still very much sentiment driven, and it's still very much.
You've got to start somewhere.
You've got to start somewhere. Now, I'm not trying to be overly negative. It's still very much dependent on our current president and the team around him doing the right thing. And I have every confidence that that is what they're aiming to do.
Have they given you any indication so far that they're not serious about this? Perhaps Gwede Mantashe is about turn on once empowered, always empowered, and challenging that in court when he did say a couple of weeks ago that he wouldn't do so. Maybe that's a little niggle?
I think, look, I can sit here and say I do have confidence in them. My worry is that will they be given enough time to actually do the right things properly? My worry is that there's an election next year, and the last thing you want to do, the last thing you want to see is them pulling back on some of their proposals and start pandering to the populist conversation. He needs time. South Africa is by no means too far gone or in the gutter. We can turn this around. My worry is just, will he be given time to do that?
Are those worries justified, Paul Theron, or do we need at some point to put the worries aside and focus on a much longer outcome?
you know, people have a particular class interest in the economy, so that tends to cloud their political views. People like Luthuli, Mr. Luthuli here, and myself, Mr. Theron, you know, we might come from a particular investment active part of the population, so we don't know nothing to do with, you know, leftist populist sentiment. But a country is the sum of its people, and its electoral outcomes are the sum of their aspirations and desires. I don't know. You know, South Africa is an interesting place politically. What can one say? But I'm encouraged, as he is, I think that at least the people at the helm, you know, the one with the steering wheel, is sort of mindful that there have to be sensible...
But Mduduzi's concern here is that Cyril doesn't get that chance, that he somehow gets chucked out of power next year. I'm not so sure. I mean, if anybody could turn the tide of the ANC's almost inevitable electoral losses, that path that it was on, and hence the need within the ANC to transform itself, that sent a very clear signal.
Maori is the ongoing fights in there. There seems to be, obviously, the faction that was supporting NDP, causing trouble, if I can put it that way. Also, Cyril is very, very aware of the popularity of the EFF and how it's growing, and aware that there's enough anger in the country to ensure that, you know what I mean, that the EFF
Luthuli, by the way, Luthuli is a surname that comes with a lot of history inside of the KwaZulu-Natal African National Congress heritage.
Yeah, and you know, we suffer and gain as much for that surname because people think we're the investment wing of Luthuli House.
They're named after him, you know.
So that's just my worry, is that the man has a plan. I think it's a good plan, but at the same time, he has to be aware of what's happening in his party. He has to be aware of the popularity. You said the country is the sum of its people, and those people are saying, EFF, we like your story, if we can put it that way. So will he be given time? And if he is given time, will he implement all of his proposals, or will he have to sort of cut back and be a politician, basically?
Yeah, well, that's what politicians do. But in the real world, money is there to be made, and some nice guidelines and some nice insights there for the month of April that has passed. Some really good progress being made, but as Mduduzi Luthuli points out, there are risks prevalent in the political sector, and South Africa is very much about its politics, and as Paul Theron summed up so nicely, we are a country that is the sum of its parts. Paul Theron from Vestact and Mduduzi Luthuli from Luthuli Capital, thank you both very much for coming in. And you can send us your feedback via Twitter. The handle for that is @ENCA, or directly to me @Bruce Business using the hashtag ENCA Taking Stock. Until next time, bye-bye.